Guys, so I wanted to do this video today because I just realized that a lot of people have had the assumption that when it comes to my journey, I'm on this journey simply because I'm a lesbian. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I actually had that mindset too. For years, I assumed that only lesbians went through infertility treatment, or only gay men who use surrogates went through fertility treatment, when the reality is that is far from the truth. I had a rude awakening the first day my wife and I walked into the fertility clinic and realized, wow, we're the only same-sex couple here, and the waiting room was full of straight couples who unfortunately has to go through fertility treatment. So I wanted to share my story with you guys and give some suggestions on what I hope will help the next woman avoid this phase in life. For me, fertility has not always been an issue. If you follow me on my Instagram, you know that I am absolutely obsessed with my daughter. She is hands down the best thing that ever happened to me. But I had her when I was 19. And for years after that, I've been in relationships. I've had good relationships, and I have bad relationships. I've had abortions, I've had miscarriages. I've been in situations in relationships where I knew that bringing a kid into that toxic environment wasn't fair to the child. And I've been in great relationships where I knew my heart wasn't in it. I knew that the person loved me this much, but I was only staying in that relationship because I felt I owed it to them. So I couldn't bring a child into those situations. I have also had a ridiculously hurtful loss that put me in a place that made me fearful from having more children. And because of those things, I kept telling myself, I got plenty of time. I got plenty of time. I totally took advantage of my body. I totally took advantage of the fact that I was a female. I made all of these plans. I have my daughter. I'm going to finish college. I'm no longer going to have a job, but I'm going to have a career. And then I'm going to meet my person. And then I'll have more kids. And now, here we are. I will be 38 years old next month. I finally met and married my person. And I can't give us children. And that's probably one of the most hurtful realities that as a woman you would have to face. For me, it's different avenues that put me in this fertility world. In 2007, I was misdiagnosed. I went in for some pelvic pain, and I left after being told I had ovarian cancer. I had a tumor on my left ovary that was the size of a grapefruit, and it needed to be removed immediately. After that, they put me on all these meds just to have the surgery, and the surgeon tell me that when he opened me up, it was nothing there. That surgery that I did not need ultimately created a lot of scar tissue in my body. I don't know if you guys are aware, but scar tissue doesn't just stay still. It's not like a flower that's planted. It's planted and it grows in that one spot. Scar tissue grows like fungus, and over time, that's exactly what it did to my body. Ultimately, the scar tissue ate up my left tube, which had to be removed in 2014. Since that surgery, they told me, I could have more kids with no issue, and I have been trying since then and have been unsuccessful. When it comes to IVF, a lot of people have this assumption that you have IVF and you're going to get pregnant automatically. Why wouldn't you think that? They take your egg out, they fertilize the egg with the sperm, they put the egg back in you exactly where it's supposed to go. So you just have this assumption that this fertilized egg is fertilized. That means it's an embryo. It's going to be in you, and you're pregnant. You're going to plan a baby shower. You're going to start college funds and all of these things. And that's just not reality of IVF life. And another one of the myths or false rumors that I took with me along the way is that I'm a woman, I have plenty of eggs, I can have babies whenever I feel like it. And the reality is we're not men. We just can't do that. The eggs we have is that we're born with, those will be the eggs we will have forever. And with the older we get, those eggs decrease, and those eggs, the quality of them go downhill. So you have to think to yourself, just a few years ago, you remember it like yesterday, you told yourself, oh, I got plenty of time. And now you're in a position in life where you actually have a watch and you're looking at the time and the arm's not moving. And that's what fertility is. For me, fertility is probably one of the hardest things I've gone through. I lost intuition. I have lost very important people in my life. I've lost my granddad. I lost a fiance. I lost a son. I lost a lot of things in my life. Going through fertility, hands down, is the hardest thing to go through. It's like every day you are injecting yourself with these medications. Every day you're giving yourself hope. Every day you pumping yourself up, not knowing what the outcome is going to be, with the hope that it's going to be a positive, just to pee on a stick and it's a negative. It feels like somebody is literally cutting you open and ripping your heart out each and every time. And that's not something anybody can prepare you for. You can watch all of the YouTube vlogs you want. You can read all of the blogs you want. You can go to doctor after doctor after doctor. It's nothing that will prepare you to see that negative. Going through fertility and taking a pregnancy test is completely different from just having a oops and let me go get a pregnancy test. It's completely different because with IVF, you are working your ass off to get that positive. It's kind of like being in high school and you're studying so hard day and night to make sure you get that perfect SAT score, and then you get your results back and you flunk the SATs. That's exactly how it feels. Going through IVF isn't something that I will wish on anybody. It makes you feel like you're not valued. It kind of makes you feel like it's a glitch in your system. It's kind of like buying a brand new BMW, a 2020 BMW, black on black. It's shiny, it's pretty, it's sexy, it's beautiful. And then as soon as you leave the lot, somebody puts a scratch on it or somebody hits your car. After that moment happens, you never look at it the same. That's how IVF, that's what IVF feels like. You don't feel whole. You don't feel like a woman. Because as a woman, your womb is what makes you, in a sense. And that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And it's nothing that will ever prepare you. It's nothing your best friend can tell you. It's nothing your sister can tell you. It's nothing your mama can tell you. It's nothing anybody would be able to do to console or to feel that emptiness. I'm sharing all this to say, if you are a woman, do not take advantage of time. Some of us have it. Some of us have plenty of time. It's women that's giving birth in their 50s. Some of us have time. The rest of us, we don't have that option. So if you are someone who thinks you want kids but you don't want them right now, I would highly suggest you check with your insurance. If they covers you for infertility treatment, have an egg retrieval and freeze your eggs. Because if you won't be ready to have a baby until you're 45, at least you still have your perfect eggs in the freezer. If you are somebody who don't know if you want kids, or I'm not sure, I don't know, or maybe one day, or maybe you had a child and you still considering having more, the best thing you can do is go to the doctor and ask them to check your reproductive system. Who knows? They might not find anything wrong. But what if they do? That will be the best copay you would ever pay for. It's nothing worse than having a oops. So now you're pregnant. You go through that whole mourning your single life and your kid-free life, and then you get used to the idea of being pregnant, and then boom, you miscarry because you didn't know that somehow you developed endometriosis or other cis-related female issues that can cause miscarriages, or you think you're healthy and you and your husband is planning a baby, and then all of a sudden, boom, your body is attacking the embryos. It's so much stuff that goes into having a baby that so many of us took advantage of, because most of us had our babies when we were young. We just was having sex when we wasn't supposed to, and boom, we got pregnant like that. So you just don't appreciate the bigger things, and you don't acknowledge the what if, because you never think about the what ifs. But if you in your 30s, this is the time. Even if you're single, you have to go get checked. You have to get your female system checked. And getting your female system checked doesn't just stop at, let me go get my STDs tested and make sure I'm clean, and make sure I'm STD free, and make sure I don't have this or I don't have that. That's not it. You have to make sure you don't have STDs. You have to make sure your tubes are clear. You have to make sure both of your ovaries are working. You have to make sure that you have eggs in both ovaries. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. And do not just have an assumption about infertility and just assume that it only affects this class of people, because one thing my wife and I realized is that it affects everybody. It doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Spanish, if you're Asian, if you're gay, if you're straight. It affects everybody. 1 in 8 women will suffer through infertility. The next time you go out with your girlfriends for a girls' night, and it's 8 of you, I want you to look around, and I want you to think about, damn, one of us possibly can't have kids.